Ado has become one of the biggest names in J-pop. She's released banger after banger to the point where my Ado playlist is pretty much every one of her songs. With a surplus of tier lists being posted on the Ado subreddit recently, I wanted to go through my own ranking of her music. So today, I'm gonna offer my thoughts on every one of Ado's songs and share some interesting facts that you might not know about them. For the sake of time, I'll only be going through songs that are available on streaming services. I'll be ranking songs based on these categories, and after my rankings, I'll go over why exactly I love her music so much. So without further ado, let's go through every Ado song. Ado began releasing covers in 2017, and it wasn't long before many producers wanted her to feature on their songs. In December of 2019, she made her first feature on Osmanthus. It's a calmer song that tells a struggle between holding on to past happiness and seeking closure. If you really want to appreciate the vocals here, check out the original version that uses a Vocaloid. Shika Benesse is the first of many collaborations with John Yakitori. It's a very dark song that describes the deepest feelings of despair that one can feel. Ado's vocals give a much needed human touch, and she even came up with the Abbot in the interlude. The song gained a lot of attention on TikTok a few months after its release. Not my style, but I think it's among her best features. Anemone is the debut song of Vocaloid producer Toiki. It has a catchy piano melody that's used very repetitively. Ado's voice doesn't really stand out in the song, but that's not a bad thing. I presume a lot of people don't like the excessive amount of stops in the song, but I think it makes sense in context with the lyrics. Stick Candy is another debut song, this time for Yuki Nagumo. It's an enjoyable track under 2 minutes in length, but besides the intro, nothing about it really sticks out to me. Tokyo Cannibalism has Ado's vocals alongside a really cool guitar-centered production. It's among her most popular features, but it's yet to grow on me. The John Yakitori partnership continues with Eat. I like the eating metaphor in the lyrics, and the guitar solo is great, but it's not my cup of tea. Freud Meta is definitely a hidden gem. The bassline is great, and Ado's vocals are so calming. I especially resonate with the lyrics as I've put off making this video for quite a while. It's one of the least streamed Ado songs, but that needs to change. By far my favorite Ado feature, and I believe it's her most underrated song. This track has Linmu pair Ado's delicate vocals with some decent guitar riffs. It's gotten a bit stale for me though. Shake It Now is a duet between Ado and Nakamushi. Their voices complement each other pretty well. Usewa is the first song that comes to mind when a lot of people think of Ado. Her major debut song was a big culture shock in Japan upon release. Ado's lyrics are full of anger, and Shudo's production brings the song's intensity to its limit. It's always been one of my favorite Ado songs, but I do think it's somewhat overrated. She's delivered far better vocal performances since, and I think I've heard it too many times. There's also 2 Usewa remixes. The production of the Giga remix is cool, but I don't think it fits the vocals. On the other hand, the piano version was done perfectly. Loveka really stands out because I would never guess it to be an Ado feature based on the first 30 seconds. It's about toxic love, and the title is a pun in Japanese, which is why there are sharks in the music video. Faking of Comedy is my favorite collaboration with John Yakitori. Nothing out of the ordinary, but still very catchy. On Christmas Eve of 2020, Ado gifted her fans something straight out of left field with Ready Made. The production is reliant on brass, and it gets less smooth as the song progresses. The vocals show great control and are full of passion. I love the song's baseball imagery, and it suits the lyrics perfectly. Radio Noise is another good feature, and I really resonate with the story behind it. The production is great, and the lyrics focus on how one gradually feels after letting their dreams slip away. Although whatever effect is used on the vocals makes them way too quiet for my taste. Gira Gira has some of the best writing in any Ado song. It isn't your basic everyone is beautiful message, but rather everyone probably feels self-conscious, so let's all accept it and keep doing what we want with our lives. I feel like the song's message is a better representation of Ado compared to Usewa. Fool 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 is a very funky song. There are parts that I very much like and dislike, so they balance out. Odo is a catchy EDM track that packs a punch. The production blends well with the over-the-top vocals. Although it's one of her most iconic songs, it's arguably her most overrated. I also think Giga's Bon Odo remix is pretty bad. Yoru no Piero is another one of those Japanese songs with a danceable beat and depressing lyrics. The title translates to the night's sad clown, and the lyrics talk about escaping one's struggles through the allure of the night. Although the night's neon lights are just a brief distraction from the emptiness that always returns. The music video shows a futuristic depiction of the Shibuya Scramble Crossing, and when the music video was released, it was played on the screens at Shibuya Crossing. This song is a bop, and the Teddy Lloyd remix is my favorite remix of any Ado song. Anti-Systems was based on the story of Kabuli. The guitar and vocals go crazy here. Ai Takute is a love song that manages to stay grand while being very over the top. I find the piano and string versions better than the original. This song deserves more attention, but I do think that it being so over the top takes away from some of the emotion. Razin is the theme song for the game Lost Judgment, which is a spin-off of the Yakuza series. Ado's vocals vary from being sweet to more harsh. I used to really like this song, but I don't know what changed. The main hook in Ashura-chan has to be the best use of brass in any Ado song. The song has this very mischievous feel to it, and Neru's production alongside Ado's vocals makes for quite a thrilling listen. Ashura-chan is in your face, over the top, and I love it. There are so many covers of Senbon Sakura, but this is probably my favorite. The production works well with Ado's elegant but powerful vocals, a perfect way to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the original. I often forget about this song because of its long name. Kokoro Tulona no Fukakai sees Ado fluctuate between singing softly to full-on screaming. There's also a really slick guitar riff from Mafu Mafu. Domestic to Violence is a song that I used to hate, but I've come to enjoy it. The piano melody is very catchy, and Ado's vocals fit the arrangement very well. The lyrics are about toxic relationships from the perspective of an abuser, so I'm surprised that this song top charts in Japan. We've now reached the Fortnite song. Freedom is Ado's 5th collaboration with John Yakatori. At this point, the two need to do a whole album or EP together. As you probably guessed, the song is about standing up for your freedom. I used to really like this song, but not so much now. Fireworks is the most laid-back song on Kyogen in both vocals and production. I really want her to do a 3rd song with Kujira. Lucky Bruto has always been my least favorite Kyogen song. It's just between these dark verses to a brighter chorus. There are parts of the song I like, but others I find really irritating. My friend who introduced me to Ado got me a gacha pin when he went to Japan, and I felt ashamed that I didn't know that it was from the song. So I've since given Lucky Bruto another chance, and it's grown on me. I'd rank the live version higher though. Motherland is another Kyogen track that I originally disliked, but have come to better appreciate. Once again, the good parts cancel out the bad parts. Kyogen's last track is what I think is the most underrated song on the album. The production is great, it's glitchy and very minimal. It's treated like filler, but it's definitely good filler. Thank you all for commenting about my Japanese pronunciation in my last Ado video because I butchered far too many words like the song's title. Eia no Akaruhi is by far Ado's saddest song. Her vocals are angelic and the production is delicate but powerful. Ado's only song on Spotify with under 1 million streams at the time I'm making this video is ironically a collaboration with Yoasobi's Ayase. It was made for this Mafu Mafu tribute album, and I don't think many fans will come across the song unless they make an effort to find it. The intro sounds very similar to the intro of Yoru ni Kakaru. Ado's vocals are decent, but the song as a whole sounds pretty generic. I would love to see them collaborate again, and they recently did the theme song for the new Dr. X movie. New Genesis is a catchy synth-pop song that serves as the opening for One Piece Film Red. It's one of Ado's most popular songs, and I objectively think it's one of her most overrated ones. Still one of my favorites though. I'm Invincible is the first Ado song I ever heard, and that's part of the reason why I usually say it's my favorite. It was even voted most Disney-esque song by the Ado subreddit. I can't think of another artist who left a bigger impression on my first listen than Ado. Backlight is my favorite Ado song produced by Bondi alongside Ororiko. It has an extremely catchy guitar riff, and Ado's vocals are full of anger and intensity. I hope to learn this on guitar someday. Fleeting Lullaby is a great standalone song, but it becomes even better after watching One Piece Red. Fake Type's production is often called electro swing, and Uta's character design was partially inspired by the character Princess from one of Fake Type's music videos. Ado's rapping is the highlight for me here. One of the most distinct songs on Uta no Uta is Top Musica, aka the Song of Death. Spoiler warning if you haven't watched the movie. Top Musica is a forbidden song that's used to unleash the musical Demon King. The song's lyrics include Elder Futhark runes, including the intro where Ado is screaming at full force. Hiroyuki Sawano is behind the production, and I'm sure you've heard at least one of his works before. When Ado was holding applications for her idol group, this was the assigned song. I can appreciate it, but it's yet to grow on me. The World's Continuation is very toned down from Ado's other emotional songs. The vocals and production are simple but elegant. The last song in One Piece Red is a beautiful ballad that would have had me in tears if I heard it in theaters. This track starts slow but quickly raises the intensity. I'm a sucker for emotional Ado songs, and this song gives me goosebumps on every listen. I actually had this in B tier when I started writing this video script. Every song on Uta no Uta is an objective banger, and that also includes Ado's cover of Pink Sake. If you're not familiar with One Piece, this song is sung among pirates of the old, and is played in some very sad parts in the show. I love Ado's cover, but I have mixed feelings about the yo-ho-ho part. I find it too auto-tuned compared to the rest of her vocals, specifically with how she holds her notes. However, it's still enjoyable, and it does add a goofy feel to the song. Rebellion came out in September of 2022. making it the oldest single on Ado's second album, Zanmu. The song has quite a bite to it, and the chorus goes so hard. One of Ado's biggest inspirations is Sheena Ringo, and this song was actually written for Ado by Ringo. Missing is filled with chaotic guitar riffs and chugging bass. Some people might find the production really off-putting, but I enjoy it. A month before this track released is when I was introduced to Ado. At the time, I was hyped to hear a new single from her for the first time since I became a fan, but I thought I'm a Controversy was pretty bad on the first listen. However, its chaotic and messy sound fits the lyrical message perfectly, and when I came to realize that, I really liked it. It's also my favorite Ado music video, and it even took over her entire YouTube channel before. Ado finished recording Ibara in almost one take, and it shows with how natural and shaky her voice is. It starts with a single acoustic guitar and really progresses as all the other instruments join in. This was the only Ado song played at Times Square in 2023, and we need another collab between Ado and Bondi soon. If you've listened to a lot of J-pop, Himawari will sound like your typical acoustic kind of song. Objectively, I think this is filler on Zanmu, but I still love it. I'm a casual K-pop listener, so I was really surprised to find out Ado is doing a collaboration with LE SSERAFIM. This is my favorite version of Unforgiven, and I think it would be great for a brand to do more K-pop collaborations. Show is Ado's most recent song to really blow up, and her label has made a point to milk all they can out of it. Ado sung this at Kohaku Utakasen, and it took her 10 days to record her vocals. Show is very catchy, but I didn't really like it at first. After watching some vocal analysis videos, it really grew on me though. The production and lyrics are way more layered than you'd probably take on the first listen. I also have to mention that the Jack Jones remix of the song is without a doubt the worst Ado remix I've ever heard. Dignity is the first Ado song that was specifically written for a movie, and you could probably tell that by listening to it. The song was produced by rock duo Bees, who are Japan's best-selling artist of all time. The vocals are the highlight on this ballad. Kuda Kuda was the opening for the second season of Spy Family. I started watching the show when I found out Ado would be doing this opening, and I think this opening ranks above Souvenir but below Mixed Nuts. The vocals are very high-pitched for Ado standard, and I think the highlight here is the production. This song was arranged by Yoko Kanno and the Seatbelts, so if you liked Cowboy Bebop soundtrack, you'll definitely like this. It's gone a bit old for me, but I still love it. I'm a huge fan of city pop, and I suppose Ado is as well. She sang Stay With Me during her Wish tour, and All Night Radio is her own attempt at a song in this style. The bass is phenomenal, and we even get some slapping too. The radio theme is a reference to Ado hosting the Japanese radio program called All Night Nippon. I really hope Ado makes more songs in this style, and if you didn't know, there's also a version of the song accompanied by photos of Pad Thai on YouTube. We've now reached Ado's Utatamita album, which is what I've listened to the least out of all of her music before making this video. Unravel was the opening for Tokyo Ghoul, and it's one of the most popular anime openings. I'm in the small minority of people who didn't like the original, and that's solely because I'm not a fan of TK's vocals. I like the production in this cover, but I can understand why some people think the guitar sounds bad. Unravel is probably my favorite Ado cover. Burakino Dance is a Vocaloid song that was released back in 2013. Ado's cover doesn't top the original in vocals or production, but it's an exciting take on it. Dried Flowers is one of Yuri's most popular songs with over 400 million streams. Ado's cover is pretty much what you'd expect. It's decent, but I'd skip it for the original. I was delighted to find out Ado was covering an Akina Nakamori song. I like the way she approached the vocals, but once again, I'd rather listen to the original. Call me an Ado glazer, but I like her cover of Aishite Cubed more than the original. Her vocal range is insane here, and it's probably her most edgy song. This wasn't going to be a proper cover album if there wasn't a track from Sheena Ringo on it. Ado's cover of Crime and Punishment definitely lives up to the original. If you haven't heard the album where the original song comes from, you need to check it out. I've actually listened to a lot of covers of this song, so my opinion on it is a lot stronger than the other Utatamita tracks. Ado's voice sounds very out of place from how she normally sings. She maintains the song's cuteness, but it just isn't suited for her. I don't think it's inherently bad, but I would skip it to listen to the Taka no Nadeshiko cover. Every song that Tenawoha has done with Ado is amazing, so it's nice that Ado returned the favor by covering his most popular song. Villain isn't a track I particularly like, so I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to any version of it. Goddess is another song that shows how versatile Ado's vocals are. For my standard of listening to Ado, I haven't heard this song that many times, but I expect it to grow on me if I listen to it more. If you're not familiar with Dawn and Fireflies, it's by Nabuna, who's a producer for Yorushika. I prefer Ado's cover to the original. We can now move on to the Zanmu songs that were released after Ado's Utatamita album. the first being Chocolate Cadabra, an EDM song that was used for the 60th anniversary commercial of Lotte Well Food. This song is carried by Studio Trigger's visuals in the music video. I find the lyrics bland, and although there are parts that I really like, my interest is kinda lost by the halfway point. It's a good promotional song, but not a good standalone song. One of Ato's biggest criticisms is that her music is centered too much around her vocals. With Value, the vocals are very authentic despite the overall bleak feel. This is one of the best written songs on Zanmu, and the music video is entirely done on an iPad. Mirror is Ato's first collaboration with Notori. She previously covered his big hit Overdose, and you should definitely check out his music if you haven't already. This song is pure vibes. The production is good and Ato's vocals are very tuneful. It's something you want to get up and dance to. Songs like this and Value point Ato in a more diverse direction, and I'm all for it. Out of every Ato song, I have the most negative feelings towards Rule. I didn't like the song as a whole first, and I still don't, but the production has really grown on me. The memes about the music video character Lulu are also hilarious. Rule gives me the impression that it was made for two reasons: for Ato to excessively scream and to continue this motif of rebellion that constantly shows up in her lyrics. Only 2 songs on Zanmu weren't previously released as singles before the album released. The album starts with Nukagara, an upbeat electronic dance song that has lyrics about cocoons. I really like the intro, but I'm pretty neutral on the rest of the song. Zero is by far one of the most distinct songs that Ato has made recently, a very different vibe from her usual stuff. There are parts that I like, but it's yet to grow on me. Shoka is the first song that's both written and produced by Ato, and I'm all for Ato producing more music because I love everything about it. She wrote these lyrics when she was 17, but has since rewrote them. They show you how far she's come from that dark point in her life. The song is the same arranger as Bocchi the Rock, and when Ato performs it live, she plays a guitar part on top of singing. Shoka will probably be in my favorite 2024 J-pop songs video. On Ato's 22nd birthday, she released Sakura Biyori and Time Machine with Hatsune Miku. It's the first Miku song to feature Ato, and alongside Shoka, it's the only music video that features Ato's avatar Chando. The track has a very soft and emotional feel to it. I like a lot of Miku songs, but I'm not a fan of her vocals on this track. I do think it'll grow on me because I really like the production and overall feel. Quito Coaster is Ato's most recent release on streaming platforms, but it was posted on YouTube a few months ago. It's a collaboration between Ato and Kurasushi. It's a good theme song, but as a standalone song, I don't find anything about it intriguing. Maybe it'll grow on me, but I don't expect it to. And that's my thoughts on the 69 Ato songs that are currently on streaming platforms. My list constantly changed while writing the script, and I would definitely change some things if I edited again, so don't take my rankings too seriously. After listening to Ato's entire discography multiple times over the past few weeks, making this video has made me think about why I love her music and why a lot of other people don't. The biggest question I have towards Ato's music is how much creative control she has versus her label. For example, is Ato wanting to be the symbol of rebellion that's often depicted through her lyrics, or is her label pushing this to better sell to a younger audience? All Ato has said in regards to this is that she wants to work with many artists, but otherwise we'll never know unless she explicitly tells us. When people ask me about my favorite artists, most then ask why it's some random Japanese singer who I can't even understand. And I just say it's because she has an incredible voice. Objectively, I think Ato is very hit or miss on her songs, but for most of the tracks that I dislike, I've come back to them and found something to better appreciate with either the vocals or production. I knew before that Ato worked with a lot of producers, but the 56 songs on this list that aren't covers feature 43 producers. She's only worked with 9 of them more than once, and only Biz and John Yakitori have worked with her on more than 2 occasions. Most of the producers Ato works with come from a Vocaloid background, so that's certainly given me a bigger appreciation for Vocaloid as a whole. At first I thought there was something wrong with such diversity, and that it could benefit Ato to confine herself to a core group of producers. However, it's made me realize that I'm so used to artists confining themselves to a certain style that I expect Ato to eventually do the same. And that's why I think I love her music so much. There's so much diversity between her vocals and the production that I can go back and forth between the top half and bottom half songs on this list. I usually binge listen to artists to the point where I can't listen to them frequently anymore. But even after going through all these Ato songs so many times in the past few weeks, I still enjoy listening to Ato. Each of these 43 producers use Ato's voice to fit their own style, but with Shoka, we now have something distinctly Ato sounding. And so I hope that she continues to produce more songs in the near future. I just hope that Ato's future albums don't end up sounding like compilation singles like Zanmu did. I'd much rather there be consistency in both sound and theme for anything she groups into an EP or album. And that's everything I have to say about Ato. I thought about talking about her common criticisms online, but I don't think anyone who dislikes Ado is gonna hold any value in what I have to say about her in that sense. If you've watched till this point, I really appreciate you listening to my big Ado rambling. This video took a very long time to make, so please subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed it. A big thanks to Jerry for the Ado master doc, Napkins for the complete Ado playlist, and Sayana for making this tier list. You can find the link in the description. I'm working on more Ado content, so stay tuned in the coming weeks, and thanks for watching.